What if almost every animal on Earth just died? Not a few species, not a slow fade over millions of years, a total, cascading collapse. Imagine the oceans turning into toxic soup, the air becoming a suffocating trap, the land silent, rotting, empty. This isn't a sci-fi movie. This actually happened. Long before the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, Earth faced something far darker, far worse. This is the story of the Great Dying, the extinction event that almost ended everything. To understand the end, we have to understand what came before it. Hundreds of millions of years of evolution had built a perfectly balanced, thriving ecosystem, a masterpiece of biology, and it was about to be completely erased. The end didn't come from space. It came from right beneath their feet. In a region we now call Siberia, the earth literally cracked open. Massive volcanic eruptions, known as the Siberian Traps, tore across the landscape. But these weren't ordinary volcanoes. These were flood basalts. Fissures in the Earth's crust that poured out enough lava to bury the entire United States under a layer a kilometer deep. And it didn't stop. For hundreds of thousands of years, it didn't stop. Trillions of tons of carbon dioxide and methane pumped into the atmosphere. The planet didn't just warm up, it cooked. The oceans heated beyond the point of holding oxygen. They became stagnant, toxic. Dead zones spreading across the seafloor, allowing poisonous bacteria to bloom, releasing clouds of hydrogen sulfide gas into the very air that living things needed to breathe. The sky itself became poison. And then came the dying. 96% of all marine species gone. The trilobites, creatures that had survived for 270 million years, that had outlasted every catastrophe Earth had ever thrown at them, wiped out forever. On land, 70% of all vertebrates died. Every food chain didn't just break, it evaporated. Plants choked under acid rain. Herbivores starved. Predators followed. The entire structure of life, built over hundreds of millions of years, collapsed like a house of cards in a hurricane. For a moment in geological time, Earth was a quiet, rotting graveyard. If just a handful more species had tipped over the edge, you and I would not exist. Life on Earth would have ended 252 million years ago, and no one would ever have known it was here. So, how are we here? Against everything, against every odds stacked impossibly high. A few survivors crawl through the bottleneck. But life doesn't just survive. It adapts. It expands. It fills every empty space it finds. Over millions of years, the Earth stabilized. The skies cleared. The oceans breathed again. And into the vast emptiness left behind by the giants of the Permian, from the ashes of the greatest disaster in the history of this planet, the most iconic era of life ever to exist, was born. The Great Dying teaches us something we don't want to hear. That the balance holding all of this together, every ocean, every forest, every living thing, is not permanent. It is not guaranteed. It is fragile in ways we can barely comprehend. Today, our oceans are warming. CO2 levels are rising at rates that mirror the ancient past. The same past that ended in a graveyard 252 million years ago. Which leaves one question, one haunting, inevitable question that I can't stop thinking about. Could something like this happen again? And if it does, will we be among the survivors?